Let's do this.
I'll go off you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're live. Hey, everybody. We're just chilling. But we were talking about some of your background with rifles, and I just like that type of conversation. I think that peels back a layer, and that's super cool.
Yeah. I have this weird background in my life of I worked scout camps for years, so I taught shooting sports, and I've also made prop guns for like just games I love.
Show us, yes, show us what you just showed me.
Okay. So I made a real life Valorant Phantom. This is not
So
a
crazy.
solid hunk of plastic. Nothing moves. It's not a real rifle. Oh, that'd be really cool.
You could
also comes off.
Whoa.
Fully functioning.
Oh, that's
cool rifle, and then I also have a CS:GO AK. And it's fine.
And that's airsoft.
This is airsoft, and I cut the wires inside so it's not functional. It's just a prop.
Okay.
But
do you ever go airsofting?
No, I have not.
Really?
So I just have an airsoft rifle.
I love airsofting. I did it in St. Louis.
I want to do it
a couple times. I had a couple buddies. We actually did paintballing for my bachelor party.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It was cool. It hurt, but it was cool. But airsofting's really, I love airsofting. It's
the other fun prop I point to my office is the tire.
Which tire?
Tire way back there.
I don't see it on this, unfortunately.
Oh, it's cut off. I have my race tire for my old race team in college.
Race team?
I feel like I've explained this.
I have not heard any of this. Were you on a motorsports team?
In college, I was the CFO and aero lead for the Illinois State Solar Car team, building a fully functioning solar-powered race car.
Oh.
And I did a lot of the primary design I did all the aero design. I did all the business office stuff. I did socials. I also did some assistant stuff with mechanical and electrical, although I didn't touch electrical much because I almost killed myself a couple times.
Oh. How fast does a solar race car go?
It's all about efficiency and cruising all day.
Okay.
Peak speed on ours was 70.
Whoa.
They're street legal. It's technically registered as an experimental motorcycle by size.
Whoa.
But it is fully street legal. We had to run a convoy, but it's street legal, and we used that car was so expensive. Oh my god. Running the business side of things, that car was ridiculously expensive. But it was mine.
That's
mine,
insane.
Ours.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cool little thing.
Interesting. I was just at a STEM fair in in South Carolina, and somebody had a car that was solar powered, but I didn't ask how fast it went.
South Carolina, that'd probably be NC State who'd travel for that.
No, this was a high school one.
Oh, there are a couple high school teams in the U.S.
Yeah,
they're rare, but they do exist, and they build some pretty scuffed things. But it's the thing is, they're also not operating the budget we're operating on.
That's fair. This was in Myrtle Beach County. Okay. I don't know if they were competing or not. They just had what looked like a go-kart with solar panel on the top.
That's the high school teams.
Okay.
The college teams build fully purposeful race cars, but the high school teams are mostly just taking go-kart frames.
Wow, this is a whole new world. I also never understood it or never got to see robotics, so I'm assuming it's in the same vein. Semi.
I have also done robotics.
Of course you have. Wow.
I just like doing stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I wish I had some of those skill sets. I do not. Was there much coding involved with the race car stuff?
The race car stuff, I was not on the electrical team. Electrical had to deal with our battery management system and battery pack. I stayed away from that because that's 160 volt DC and I'd like to not die.
Got it.
But I did all of our coding for our aerodynamics package, and I taught myself ANSYS Fluent and used that package, which had some coding involved. I had to do some stuff on a supercomputer for a while, and then I've also taught comp sci.
You say these things nonchalantly, but I'm lost in half of the language.
Okay, taught comp sci. I taught a Python class roughly.
Okay, I took a Python class in college.
Was it roughly?
It was. I couldn't even tell you. No, this was. I moved something around a screen.
Oh. Ooh, fancy.
It was
Fun
turtle,
game.
sea turtle.
Yeah.
That is that's what we sat in. It was like the intro comp sci course for business majors. And we had to
Where they taught you the bare minimum of here's what a computer is and moved on.
Yes, it was very simple. But yeah, I had taken an AP class in high school that was like self-paced. That was super simple. So for me, it was really easy class. But for my peers who knew nothing about comp sci or coding, it was a struggle.
First timers always have one of two times: either they love it and dive into it, or hate it.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking for a lot of people.
It is.
It's similar to how I always struggled in accounting, but I loved finance. People are like, how is that possible? It's different. I'm telling you. One is about making money off of your stocks, and the other one is about making things legal in your papers, and that's not fun. So
as a math major, accounting and finance, I both hate.
Yeah, okay. But it's all numbers. So, but yeah, I get you on that. All right, well, welcome everybody to the Collegiate Esports Talk Show. I'm Coach Antor, and with me today is Cora. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited about this.
I'm glad you let me be on here at this point. I bothered you enough.
We've been talking about it for a long time. And it's just been, and then it was like a whole month of delay since we officially decided, because we're both busy. So that it just happens. But we're here, and we're going to talk about switching from high school to collegiate. And I think this should be a fun discussion. I think.
How much ranting is allowed?
Enough, but we don't have to name companies because we all know the companies' names.
But I want to.
If it comes up naturally, it's allowed.
Okay.
If that works.
I'll keep my hate mail to myself.
Okay. Well, to begin, how about you give us an introduction of who you are?
Oh, Lord, we just had part of that. Okay.
Kinda.
So, hi, everyone. My name is Cora Kennedy. I'm the Director of Esports at Illinois Wesleyan. I currently also serve as a board member for the Illinois High School Esports Association and formerly was a TO and broadcast and whatever for them. And I formerly also was a high school math computer science teacher. Currently, I just do college esports stuff and also still stay involved in the high school space. And whatever else people ask me to do, I just kind of do it. So,
yeah.
I've been a lot of panels and podcasts lately.
I remember... I don't know who it was who was doing the interview, but when you stepped down from super involvedness in the Illinois League, there's a long interview from somebody, and I don't know who it was with, but it was basically like Cora does everything that is asked and does not know how to say no.
It's gotten bad, actually. The IHSCA staff have stopped letting me volunteer things.
Nice.
They'll say, can anyone do this thing? And then look at me and tell me, no, you're not allowed to volunteer. And I'm like, but I wanna.
That's probably for the best.
To my credit, I have stopped volunteering for things lately to actually get back some of my free time.
That's good. That's probably smart. Because I know as well as you know that free time can be very rare if you say yes to everything.
I've been booked till midnight every night past week.
That's ridiculous. And you have like a meeting right after this and dinner after this. Is dinner after this or?
So I'm doing a meeting at 6 and then dinner with a friend at 7:30 ish.
Okay. Are those Eastern time?
Central.
Okay. All right. So
why am I talking Eastern time? I
don't know where the cutoff is. I just know at some point between Michigan and Illinois, somewhere in Indiana, it's swapped. All right.
I actually know exactly where it is in Indiana.
Okay. Is it Gary? Is it right on the Michigan border, or is it?
It's about 30 miles inwards from Illinois.
Okay.
I know it because my dad and I would drive to go see his folks in Indiana. They're in the eastern part of Indiana.
Okay.
We drive past there every time, and it's actually a really weird indicator of why I know where it changes.
Oh.
There is a cell tower painted like a candy stripe.
Oh, interesting.
That is the indicator where the time zone crosses.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Okay, well, Central Time. All right, good. I live in the Eastern, so Eastern is the one true time zone. True, yeah. I mean, I ate lunch on my front porch today. It's like 80 degrees, and all my Michigan pals who are in this chat, some of them, are sending photos of snow, and I don't miss it. Did you get snow this week?
No, Maybe. Maybe.
Ugh.
It's I don't like it, but I deal with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like the snow's not horrible; it's just kind of here.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm used to it. We also had snow days this school year.
that's fair. I do
We
not have
had
snow
3
days.
snow days because they put up
Wow.
like a foot and change overnight, and they're like, "Okay, school canceled."
Holy cow. Okay.
So summer students walked to the facility, built a snowman on the field next to it, and then played games all day.
Nice. So the power didn't go out. That's good. Internet was
Nope.
still there.
And the snowman was cool.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, for those of you who don't know, I come from the high school space as well. I got my start starting a high school team in Michigan. I was not nearly as involved at the state level. I did serve on the board of MISEF, the Michigan High School Esports Federation,
Yeah.
prior to my leaving of the state. But that's where I got my start. I mean, it's weird that there's a couple of us who started in the high school space and now coaching collegiate. I know another one's Colin Graham.
Yeah.
Andy Mendez is playing collegiate now.
Collegiate, yeah. He's actually 2 miles that way from me.
That's very odd. That's
live in
very
the same
close. That's true. Okay. Rob, who's at Siena Heights now, started at Elkhart. And I know I'm missing so many more. Hell on Pause.
Oh, there's so much.
Hell on Pause is now at the collegiate level. But yeah. What do we but yeah, let's talk about the Switch.
Yeah. So I mean, the way I can approach it is looking at how I got there, I guess.
We could do that. Yeah.
So I taught in Springfield, which is about an hour south of Bloomington, where I reside now. And I first actually met the Wesleyan guys doing networking for IHSCA at the first 66 games, which was
Nice.
pre-pandemic, if you can imagine a time like that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was forever ago. And right about December that year, as a high school director, I made a decision to contact literally every college I get my hands on so I got my players recruited, because I had some really good players. One of them actually followed me here, but I had some really good players and students who were naturally incredibly talented. It's not Flum, actually.
Oh, it's not.
So I'll explain the rest of the IHSCA gang later.
Okay.
So I was doing networking for IHSCA because at the time I was one of the TOs. I was doing broadcast. I was a director, and so I wanted to get my face and name with a lot of high school directors and college ones too. And I also met some high school directors there who didn't play IHSCA, who now do. And so I basically walked around the floor, shook hands, said hi to people, and made a name for myself. And I also met Fletch there, the former director at Wesleyan. We struck up a conversation. I talked about him doing recruiting trips, and then we had one planned. And before he could actually get a recruiting trip off the ground, COVID hit. And so everything shut down. And I had this decision in my mind of like, I want to, around the start of last school year, I basically sat down myself and went, I love doing esports. I love being involved however I can. I mean, I'm in the IHSCA Discord still, just messaging kids constantly, and not as like a recruiter, just as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And people just like, there's a student on the broadcast team who will call me out whenever there's a new skin bundle in Valorant and ask me if I have bought already. and he's fairly consistent. I don't want to talk about it. Okay,
all right, that's fine.
but like just getting to know the kids and being friendly and just being myself.
Yeah.
And so when the Wesleyan job opened up, I'm like, I gotta take it. I have to at least try. And I saw the 5 years experience required thing, and I'm like, okay, I don't have 5 years experience. I'll just apply, see what happens. And apparently, my years experience kind of make up themselves. And so I ended up going through 4 rounds of interviews, including 2 all-day sessions.
Oh,
to be on the final spot. And
That's
actually, so at the end, we were left with 2 candidates, myself and someone else.
Okay.
I didn't know who she was at the time. We are now best friends.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
We met randomly through the space and have talked forever, and I love her to death. And if she's watching, hi. And so we're like best friends now. And so I talk to her constantly. Like, it's just this weird space of everyone knows everyone. And so I got the position.
Yeah.
And I had to tell my kids I was leaving. And some of my students cried. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And so like I still miss the connections I had in my high school space, and like my high school in particular, because I had a pretty loyal cult, I guess, of students.
That's one word to describe it.
No. I have 3 cults now. I'm not going to lie. Okay.
That's a lot of cults.
my students at the high school, who are non-players, I had 3 or 4 students who come by my class like every single passing period to drop off notes, letters, doodles, say hi, talk, whatever. Who'd also stay after school to talk and what's going on in life and that kind of thing. And I loved it. I would gladly do that. I also had my players, and a couple of which who still message me from the high school. And then I also have the IHSCA students, a bunch of whom are still talking to me too. And some of them made a Discord thread called the Kennedy Fan Club.
Nice.
And I talk with them in there constantly. And so, like, I still miss those kids and I still miss working with them because, as you know as well, college age is different.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm in the boat that I know collegiate's where I want to be. The high school kids were fun, but I'm the level of maturity that I enjoy is the college age.
And I think I do too, but I still miss my kids in particular,
Yeah.
not
No,
not
yeah,
high
I
school in
get
general, like
that.
my kids in particular.
Yeah. I mean, I loved my time in the high school space, but I also know that if I wanted to stay in esports, uh, I would not be able to do that full time in the high school space, at least at
Oh,
this
there's
point.
no way. There's no
Um,
way.
so it was kind of, yeah, it was something you had to kind of turn in. But yeah, I loved the high school space, and there aren't a lot of role models at the high school level
Yeah.
for a lot of these students. I mean, there's a lot of teachers who are much older. There's a lot of teachers who just don't stay after school. They're not really
Yeah.
invested. Um,
I was the only teacher in my building for 2 years with a 7-digit educator ID number. Everyone else had 6 digits. I was the youngest person in my
wow,
department. I was youngest in my department by 10 years.
holy cow,
There were 12 other math teachers. I was the youngest by a significant margin.
that's crazy.
Because
Yeah,
it's a podunk school in Cornland.
that's
Like,
fair. That's
we
fair.
had 1,600 kids, and
Okay.
so like I was the youngest one, and a lot of students knew that and went to me for
Yeah,
that.
for sure. That's awesome. Um, so you got this
But
job. Let's talk about the difference in expectations for a high school coach and a college coach.
expectations from who?
Um, all the above. How about you walk us through some of that? And I'm gonna actually grab something. I think I have something.
Okay, okay. So expectations from administration. My high school admin did not give two craps who I was or what I did. I was just there, and oh my god, hey look, I have one behind me too.
Yeah, let's go.
Our new ones come in next week, and they're a totally different design that I love.
Oh, really? Ooh, I might have
Yeah.
to buy one. Gotta add to the collection.
Check our link. Actually,
All right.
while we're speaking of jerseys, make sure to buy one of our Pride jerseys because I'm doing a fundraiser with those.
Ooh, I do need to buy one of those.
Yeah, because so the fundraiser I'm doing with the Pride jerseys is I am personally donating 25 bucks per jersey sold plus 250 to start with to the Trevor Foundation.
Okay.
For every Pride jersey sold. Trevor Foundation is a LGBTQ youth organization that is a lifeline for students, and if they need like a crisis helpline, they can call them.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I'm doing
awesome.
that. So just jersey rant. So expectations.
I just need to buy one. I've been seeing it and I'm like pushing it off.
Grab the
I just need
links.
to do it. I know.
So yeah. My admin at the high school level were basically like, great, have fun, doing great, don't worry. And they didn't care the details, and I kind of had to shade the details from them.
Mm.
So I started my team my second day of new teacher training my first year. I basically
Wow.
walked up to my principal
Okay.
and said, "Hey, can I do this?" And he went, "Hell yeah, we can!" And that was it.
Wow.
And I did tryouts 2 weeks later.
Interesting. Okay.
That first year team was scuffed because I did not know how to organize anything. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
And so my principal was great. He left after my second year,
Okay.
and we had a new guy. But the one who was my biggest pushback was my AD, my athletics director, because my first year I was organized under clubs. However, to get me a stipend and allow me to get paid for it, I was in my second year put into athletics.
Oh, interesting.
My AD did not like the idea that esports is year round
Okay.
because it means he had to pay me more.
Fair.
The thing is, I just ran it year round without telling him, and then just accepted the pay cut, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the student experience mattered more to me. and I ran eventually the largest organization in the school besides football. I had 65 players.
Wow. That's
65
awesome.
active competitive players, not just club members.
Yeah.
And so my AD did not like a lot of what I was doing, so I just didn't tell him.
Yeah.
It's not that I was lying. I just didn't quite talk to him about the
Yeah.
truth.
Well, I mean, our first year we competed in CSGO because all the kids were already playing CSGO, but my principal didn't know.
For games, I was up front because some of these school board were parents on my team.
So we're a small private Catholic school.
There we go.
And yeah. So we had Rocket League and Counter-Strike. That was where our two games, and mine's kind of similar where I asked my assistant principal if we could do it, and they're like, yeah, sure. And we did it. But it started out as just like, let's meet once a week in this like open area, and then the players can go, if they like each other, can go and play at home for fun.
Yeah.
And then we found HSCL, and then things kind of started getting a little bit more real.
So actually, I don't know if he's here or not. I got a message a few weeks ago or a few days ago from the guy who got my start in high school esports.
Oh, interesting.
So right when I started Glenwood, the high school program, I basically reached out to the IHSCA and in their Discord, which was a scant 200 members at the time. We were at 3,000.
Yeah.
A scant 200 members at the time. I reached out to Ed, the director at Oswego High School, and said, "Hey, you seem really experienced. You and I just shoot the shit and talk, and can I get some ideas and help?" And my current student contract is still built upon the language he had in his first one from 2017.
Wow.
I mean, because documents like that are passed down and hand-me-downs and all that kind of stuff. And so I built mine off of his documents, and I modified things and changed things, but I still had that. And so I was talking to him online a bunch. And then in November of that year, I went to Chicago for IEM Chicago, the CSGO LAN. And at midnight in Union Station on the way back, I met him and his team.
Oh, interesting.
Coming back from a separate League of Legends LAN in Chicago the same day.
Whoa.
And I had been talking to him, and we scrimmed once, and it was fun. And our teams went like 1-1. We had to leave. And so we're even, and I just met him randomly in person.
So that was that 2016 quarterfinals?
No,
for League of Legends.
This was them playing.
That was them playing. Okay.
So this was IEM Chicago 2018. Which, my TL flags over there. I got to sign my players.
Nice.
IEM Chicago 2018, and it was like November-ish, and his players come back to the tournament with him. And they saw my Cloud9 hoodie. We struck up a conversation, and I started putting two and two together. I'm like, "You guys a high school team?" "Yeah." "What school are you from?" "Oswego." "Are you Ed?" And then we
nice.
put it together, and he gave him my start in esports. And like that December, he ran what's called the Oswego Invitational, which over winter break when no one's playing, what he would do is he would run a like online tournament for any high school who wanted to play in Illinois. Just say, "Let's come play, go do it, have fun." And he'd TO it. We do League of Legends before New Year's and Overwatch after New Year's.
Okay.
Well, my team was playing both of them. So I basically popped in his DMs like, "Hey, do you want help?" Because he's running it all solo.
Yeah.
And he went, "Yeah, sure. Can you cast Overwatch?" I played 2 hours of the game.
Oh, nice.
You're fine. And I casted Overwatch with no names or anything. Like, it's the person with the ice thing that was my casting.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so, and he gave me a start in esports and like entrusted me and let me run with things. And I learned a lot those couple of weeks.
I don't know why we all kind of in the high school space started right around that 2018, and I don't know why. What happened in 2018? Okay.
So I was interested in esports a lot because I played CS once, tournaments and whatnot, and so I loved it. And I was interested in CS, and my dad knew about it. My dad reads the Chicago Tribune pretty religiously. He messaged me an article from the Trib from June talking about the rise of high school esports due to Todd McFarlane's work with the IHSCA when it started.
Whoa.
They interviewed him.
Okay.
And he sent me that and said, "You should start one." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I should." And that's literally why I started.
Interesting. I just saw a kid wearing a Navi jersey and was like, I still game with my high school buddies. How do I create that same opportunity for kids at the school I was working at? So I started a club, and then it just like snowballed to a team. Like it was
I want a
crazy.
Navi jersey.
Yeah, right. You can probably find one. Darlene says in chat, all games should be cast like that, like your ice person.
Well, if you want to hear my casting, I am currently the broadcast in-game observer and also caster for the IHSCA Valorant we play on Wednesdays.
Oh, but
I do all our
you
in-game observing because
you're
it's I'm
familiar
good
with
at it.
Valorant though, so it won't be as
Yes, but like
grassroots.
the
Or
thing is, I'm trying to run the camera, which is swapping between players while also talking.
that's fair. That would be a lot.
It's hard.
That would be a lot. So what is the when you transitioned to college? What was the time spent on esports change? Like, what did that look like?
So coming into Wesleyan, but prior to that at Glenwood, I was putting around 20 hours a week into my team and around 10 into IHSCA. 8 to 10.
Okay.
Depending on season and whatnot, because some seasons were worse. Like for Valorant, I was the one who was running it. Not for or Rocket League, I was the one running it. For League, I was assisting, so I was busy with those. But for like Fortnite and Smash nights, I didn't touch those. And so I was putting around 30 hours a week into esports as it was. I was also doing private coaching and coaching other players. I coached players from not my high school. I liked Valorant that much. I coached other players from not my high school.
Wow. That's dedication. That is serious dedication. And how much time do you think you coach now?
Well, about that, I still coach a high school team.
Oh. I thought you weren't
Also,
supposed to volunteer for stuff anymore. What the heck?
you can't stop me from this one. So I coach I coach Naperville North High School Valorant program.
Okay. Yeah.
My camera died. Oh,
Yeah. I just refreshed something.
Yeah. I coached Coach Terpster from there, who I'm friends with through the IHSCA. He's one of our Overwatch TOs and does a lot of organizational things. He messaged me saying, "Hey, I don't know anything about Valorant, and you ran the summer conference session on Valorant for IHSCA. Can you help me with tryouts?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I can. It's a weekend. I'll do it." And I ran tryouts, and it went really well. They had an all immortal varsity team, which hell yeah. And then two of the players, one of them who probably is watching right now, DM me right after saying, "Hey, can you stay?" And I'm like,
you can
why
say
not?
you can say no, or you have to say no to IHGCA, but to a student, I mean,
Yeah, and so this is like two students approaching me, "Hey, can you stay?" And I'm
yeah.
like, "Well, now you got me."
Yep.
And so I have been coaching them, which is around 6 hours a week, depending. I do VOD reviews with players. I'm working with some players now to help them go to play amateur.
Okay.
Will, if you're watching, keep it up, man. And then I also do team practice and like overall like match breakdowns and whatnot.
Dang.
And so I'm involved with them. I still do IHSCA board member things. I still am also the Discord mod and talk with players in there. But then I do Wesleyan for around 45 to 50 hours a week. I'm trying to limit it to those times. I mean, I haven't been these past couple weeks, but my goal is to limit it because my first day, you may have had this too when you came from teaching into college, where my first couple days in the job, like I come home and there's no homework to grade.
Yeah.
What happened?
I actually didn't teach. I was the director of marketing at a private school. So I don't know the struggle of grading.
So for teachers, grading is this looming demon hanging over your head at all hours of the day and night, where it's like when you're out with friends or with family, it's like I should be grading right now.
Oh,
and so to get home and not have that was a really weird thing to have to adapt to.
Okay.
Where it's like I have to adapt to having time.
I might be turning towards that. I might be teaching a course next fall.
Ooh, what course?
We'll see. Probably intro to esports management. So we have a minor on campus. I just have to ask my bosses and get their approval
if you
first.
Want curriculum help, I'm here.
There's all sorts of people with curriculum. Y'all are experts. I mean, you got Cora, you got Joey G is doing some stuff. I might look for recommendations on a textbook.
I did some thinking on that. I've also actually been asked to do a course here, at least a seminar on education philosophies, and looking
Oh,
at the modern view of how education works in a current classroom versus the traditionally taught classroom.
whoa, that's way above my head. That sounds
I
to
love it.
education majors or
Yes,
just
so
okay.
it'd be to education majors talking about things that's not typically taught about in education classes. So, like
Interesting.
how to deal with angry parents at 7 a.m., or
Oh,
how
that
to
sounds
handle two
useful.
students getting in a fist fight because they're bored.
That would be useful as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay, interesting. Um,
But I want to know how your class goes, and I really want to see it, man.
oh, I will. I'll let you know. I created a syllabus for something like that when I was at Aquinas because we
Ooh.
were exploring a minor, but ultimately the person in charge was not interested in pushing my agenda and would rather have a sales major first. But
Oh, that's not
whatever.
fun.
But I have a syllabus, and I will. Yeah, I will be asked. I'll add you to my list. My list is Joey and you now, so
I
of
would
people to ask.
gladly talk curriculum anytime.
I have a lot to learn, but teaching is something that I'm interested in trying out. I think I'd enjoy it, but
I would love to
I don't
talk
know.
more about it
Yeah.
anytime. It is
Okay.
something I still genuinely enjoy doing. I still tutor my students here.
Yeah.
Some of my students found out that I'm published in discrete mathematics. Like, can you teach us? I'm like, okay, sure. And and, and
That's
so
a nice resource.
and so I tutored a couple of my players in discrete. I've also actually full of like 3 or 4 books on loan to Rachel. Where's the sticky note? Get textbooks back from Rachel. This is what I do with my life. You can keep talking. I'm sorry, I'm listening.
No, tutoring in just math, or do you tutor in all sorts of different topics?
um, in college, I tutored for the developmental mathematics program,
Okay.
which is our remedial classes, as well as the athletics program. And so the developmental mathematics is like basic algebra and algebra 2 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also tutored for athletics, a variety of math classes going up to Calc 3.
Wow.
Beyond that, I was like, this class also kicked my ass. I'm not going to teach it to someone.
Yeah.
Just being honest. Um, well, besides discrete, I also tutored poli sci, history, some science classes, basic physics because it's just calculus, and then a com class.
It's just physics.
Okay. Physics 1 is literally just, can I abuse a differential equation somehow? That's literally all it is. It's just taking a derivative behind the woodshed and beating it. That is all. That is all physics is.
I never had to take physics, thankfully, but it sounds atrocious.
It's so much fun when you know the content.
I skipped it. I took AP Bio in high school instead of
Ugh,
physics, and then
biology.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. But it was easy. It was high school, even if it was AP.
Yeah.
Um,
So I still tutored for players here.
good question, Joe. Joe's asking, where do you have all this time?
Mike, you don't gotta call me out like this. I mean, I'm booked till midnight the next 3 days too.
Oh my, I don't know how you do that. No,
Um,
I need
it's
me time to just game because mentally I cannot do that type of
speaking of
constant.
gaming. I'm friends with a bunch of women's Valorant players, and I play 10 mams with them when I can.
Okay, that's fun. That's kind of cool.
And actually, so can I do a funny tie into that?
Yes, sure.
So one of my high school players, Will, is trialing for amateur teams right now in Valorant,
Okay,
and he's like, he just made a team too, which is great.
nice.
One of his trial scrims was versus XSET women's team,
Yeah.
and I know a player on that team. All right, now I know a player through mutual connections. I messaged my friend, and she said, and she called my player out in game, saying Cora ratted you out
Nice.
because he messaged me. I'm so excited. I'm playing with the pro teams,
Uh,
and she's like, I called you out.
oh my gosh.
So I still get involved in the women's team when I can for Valorant, and I game with some esports friends when I can. But like, I haven't been in my friends' Discord, my personal friends' Discord, in probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Wow. Wow. That's fair.
I want
Okay.
to. I really want to.
So at what point when you were in the high school space did you decide, or like what were some, I guess, key signs of
Yeah.
when you decided you need to look at collegiate?
Some formative things for me was really seeing IHSCA LAN events take off
Okay.
and doing more with them and enjoying them, enjoying doing them, enjoying and getting super wrapped up in TOing because I Started my time in the IHSCA as the League of Legends TO. That was 2018, 2019 school year. I TO'd League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And then going into the 2019, 2020 school year, I started the Rocket League season for IHSCA and TO'd Rocket League and League of Legends. And then also helped with Overwatch here and there for like organizational things. And then the third year, I started Valorant. So I was doing Valorant, Rocket League, and League, and I just loved it. I put on a Valorant tournament 2 weeks after the game's launch with any IHSK kid who wanted to play.
Wow.
I said, make teams. I don't care what school you're from. Let's go play. Because I just
Yeah.
want to play Valorant. I love the game. I wrote a rule set 2 weeks after launch.
Wow.
That rule set actually was pretty close to what IHSK's landed on.
Wow.
So
That's
I wrote that rule
impressive.
set. We had 24 teams 2 weeks after launch.
Oh my gosh.
That is the strength of the IHSK.
Wow. Okay.
They were mixed school and they're kind of student put together, but they were IHSK.
Yeah.
And so I then pivoted that rule set for the following school year to be the full rule set for IHSCA and modeled it off a couple pro things I knew were existing, but not much out there at the time, and created that rule set. And then TO'd IHSCA for League, Overwatch, and or League. Oh God, not Overwatch, please. League, Valorant, and Rocket League. I was also the primary broadcast for Rocket League and for Valorant. I believe Andy ran broadcast and I did casting.
Okay.
And so just getting my hands in everything, and I love doing all of it. And I wanted to do more and more and more of it. And as the school year went on, about October, November 2020, I kind of sat down in my head and like, you know what? I wanted this for, and I started looking at and applying to things, and nothing really fit me. And I'm like, I want to go work academia still because I love working with students still, and you can probably attest to how rewarding it is to work with students.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to still do that, and I love to still do that, and so I want to get involved that way still. And so I was looking at collegiate programs and looking at what's available for collegiate and getting involved and networking through connections that I already had, and more. And I found the Wesleyan position open up, and I had to take it.
That's awesome. That's cool. Do you regret leaving high school?
No, I don't regret it. I love esports. I love Wesleyan. I love doing what I can. I love the fact that my job enables me to do so many cool things.
Mm-hmm.
I miss my kids in particular.
Yeah.
Teaching day to day, as I look back on it, was strenuous. It was strenuous. It was time consuming. It was busy, but I miss my kids.
Yeah.
And a certain couple who made leaving really hard for me.
For sure. Interesting. I get that. So if there's a high school coach listening in, what advice do you give them if they're thinking about potentially looking at collegiate?
Know what you're good at. Know what you're good at, and emphasize those strengths in your interviews and in your applications, and look at the skills you've built up. And one thing that helped me was sitting down and looking at the things that I've been involved in and just listing out skills that's kind of been attained through that. And another thing to lean on is most college directors don't have an education background. So lean on your experience as an educator and the unique perspective you bring, because I bring a different perspective than anyone else that I work with on how situations can and should be handled, and the academia oriented ways that things have to be handled sometimes. Because I mean, I'm frustrated with institutional momentum and inertia, or lack thereof, at a college.
I think most people are.
But I was used to it.
That is true.
Because I came from teaching high school, where it's like, I want a new textbook. Okay, give me 2 years and $20,000. And so you got to get used to it. And I hate saying I deal with it, but I deal with it.
Yeah.
And so utilize your strengths and things you built up through experience as an educator, because you have a lot of hard-won knowledge you don't really know you have on interactions, on professionalism, on decorum in professional workplaces, in education, and how to work with students. Because educators, any good educator will bring a student-centered approach to their work, where outputs aren't as important as students. And this sort of social emotional perspective is what allows educators to thrive in a college atmosphere.
Mm,
Sorry,
that's good
long rant that
advice.
sounds philosophical.
No, that's good advice. What else do you want to talk about when it comes to the high school to collegiate switch?
God, there's so many acronyms for leagues. God, there's so many.
I mean, we can keep that type of stuff to the Twitter timeline.
God, I hate it.
I'm sure we the next time we're in an in-person event, we can complain about the early days of high school a lot.
Oh no. High School Star League?
I never played in High School Star League, but I did
I've never
HSCL.
either. I've heard rumors.
Okay.
HSCL, the death of Nasef.
Right.
They who shall not be named. The rise of high school state leagues, now the current forming of the ISEA.
True.
And so there's all these. I mean, I just love supporting teacher initiatives and doing what I can with them.
For sure.
But I mean, one of my biggest things for me has been my actual transition.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
The struggle with that, because it's hard.
Let's talk about really that. Hard. Let's talk about it. Let's from a director's perspective.
Behind me.
Yeah.
My players took to it with zero issues.
Yeah.
Players have actually been correcting people. So when I first came out, we're still in contact with some recruits who were trying to talk to us, and they kept calling me he and my dead name, and players in private DMs I would never have any reason to see were still defending me and saying my corrections to other people.
Got it.
And that felt really good.
That is very cool.
When I so I don't want to call him out, but I want to call it in a good way. One of my staff, Lorenzo, I basically talked to my staff first and like, hey, I'm gonna go public on Monday. Can just any advice you have for me to talk players with us?
Yeah.
In the end, I just put a Discord post out. But when I came out to him, he went, "That's based. I gotta go to a meeting now," and then left. And I'm like, how do I take this? How do I take this?
Yeah.
Lorenzo, I love you, man. How do I take this?
Yeah.
But it was fine, and I love him for it.
Yeah.
And to their credit, my coaches have been wonderfully accepting. My directors above me have been wonderfully accepting. The university as a whole is very good about it.
Mm-hmm.
There are some folks who have not been at the university, but they have been quietly dealt with.
Yeah.
And it's been great for me at an institution level. There has been some pushback on socials and public space, because something that I was really worried about coming out was the fact that I couldn't just do, because what people do typically is they come out to their friends and family first, or friends first, because family's always second, then family, and then their workplace, and then they expand the ring to public. Yeah. The thing is, I had to do work in public in the same stroke because of how much of a public figure I am, my work is, and how many students I'm involved with. There's no real sense of privacy in that way.
For sure.
And so I had to just go public, and that was scary. That was horribly scary. That Monday, when I posted, I was checking my Twitter like every 5 minutes. Like, oh God, who sent me hate mail? Oh God, oh God, oh God.
No.
I got some pretty bad messages that day.
Yeah.
And except my old high school students follow me on Twitter, my old cult, and they defended me in my Twitter comments for me, and I'm thankful for them.
That's awesome.
I love them dearly.
That's so cool.
Jazz and Ollie, I love you both. And they both were like going hard on my Twitter, yelling at people. But I've got like some pretty transphobic comments from other people in esports.
Yeah.
There's some people who are running tournaments that I've chosen not to deal with.
Interesting.
And I don't want to name names, but they're people who I just don't choose to deal with anymore.
Yeah. I'm assuming those people are probably not great people to begin with. So it's
and they're also up there in years.
Got it.
Anyone who's young has been very respectful and very kind and very welcoming, and it's been very nice.
Yeah.
But it's been a struggle for me personally, because transition's hard. It's really hard. It's a lot of physiological changes and mental and all that stuff. But I've gotten support, and it's been good.
For sure. And you've kind of been, I'm assuming, a beacon of an amazing role model for students who might be working through some of those questions.
I've had, since I came out, 2 of my students come out to me. And then my old high school students would talk to me still because I was the person to come out to. And like, they've been talking a bunch and been very kind about things. And then I've had players who are drawn towards me and who are looking to recruit right now because I am as much role model as I am.
Mm.
I just signed one recently who likes me a lot as a person and shows commit because I'm here. And I don't want to say like cocky, but she said as much,
Yeah. No,
and I'm
for
thankful
sure.
for it.
I mean, a lot of traditional sports recruits choose schools based on the coach and who
Yeah,
they want to surround themselves with. So why would esports be any different?
it's just that weird culture of where directors come and go a lot more in esports, and I think you've noticed
Mm.
that too.
Oh yeah.
Is that there's a lot less, I don't want to say longevity, but stability in the industry.
Hmm.
I mean, you're an example.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
It's true, and it's something we talked about at the high school level when I swapped to Aquinas. Is like every high school we saw in Michigan, as soon as the director left, the program died. Um,
I'm actually really thankful my old one didn't.
yeah.
Because well, I mean, it almost did for a while actually. They had one of my former students, who was our former team captain, come on as the director. He wasn't a teacher; he just was the community member, and he could do it, and they were okay with that. But they had to let him go due to schedule issues,
Hmm.
and so the team sat dormant for like 3 months, and then the students found a teacher they like who's younger, and convinced him to do it. And he and I had wonderful conversations since then. Now the team is in very good hands.
Nice. That's awesome.
But I'm assuming your old high school program is kind of faded.
It did, and then basically when I was at Aquinas, I basically approached their athletic director and said, "Hey, I'll come back because it's dead, and the teacher involved isn't interested, but it needs to move under athletics, and I need a stipend." And that happened, and we started building it back up. And then I decided I just needed to pull. I think I took the Florida Southern job, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen now. And they posted the position because it was paid. They could post it, and they had a stipend. And this guy named Dakota, who's in the area, took over and is way better at coaching high school than I ever was. I mean, they are killing it. They have some kid who
Awesome.
just made money on Apex for something, and
Let's go.
I'm in their Discord still, and they're practicing multiple times a week. Like they're doing VOD reviews. I'm like, this is.
It's awesome.
I like to joke that I just unlocked the door, but it's literally that's what I did. Like I unlocked the door to the lab, and then, but this guy is like coaching, and it's crazy. So no, the high school team I started is doing way better than I could ever imagine because I would have never done what they're doing. So
Something we've seen a lot in IHSCA is student-run teams who existed because there's a passionate group of students who are there, and then they
okay,
graduate.
and then it dies. It happens at the college level too. It's so
Yeah,
sad. There's some
and
big
that's
like state schools that do really well one year and then somebody graduates and everything just disappears. It's
and
sad.
that's something I think is pretty unique about the high school and collegiate space as well, and academia in general, is that our players have to leave at some point.
True.
And,
Correct.
and so,
And if we're good at
like,
what we're doing, we're pushing them out the door.
yes, we're like, let's go, come on, you
It's
have better
time.
places to go, come on.
Correct. Go make
And
money so
so
I can go ask you for some in a couple of years.
exactly. And so it's weird to sit down and go like, I want you to leave me, but it kind of is true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because we know that the success is past what they're doing right now. Like, this is not what they're here for. They're here to get their degree and move on. Even though we love them, and we hate to see them leave. We'll shed some tears, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a different dynamic. It's
And something I focus on a lot with students when I talk to them now is like, you're here for school first. I do grade checks on all my students pretty frequently.
yeah,
I have had meetings with students where it's like, hey, what can I do to help? What do you want? What do you want to talk about? And deal with like, oh, I'm struggling to do test taking in this class, and I give them study skills and things like that. We go to academic counselors, and just once again, the teacher's touch that I have and the experience that I have that I can use with my students.
yeah, for sure. And Hell on Pause is actually doing something really unique. Is he left the high school space and his program died. And now he moved back to the college that's right in the same town, and he's
Oh,
yeah, and they're partnering with some high schools where his students at the college level are coaching the high school teams. So now
yeah.
he's actually growing it again.
Is that Riley?
Hell on Pause. I don't even know his real name. No, it's not Riley. Riley's at Aquinas.
Yeah.
Why don't
Oh,
Jason
Jason.
Clark? Why do I not know your name, Jason? What? I mean, we've met, we've talked so many times. I do the same thing with my students. Like admissions will call me and
Screen
say,
names.
yes, they'll call me and say, hey, do you know where Joe Schmo is? I'm like, who's Joe Schmo? And then I literally have to go to my roster and find who it is from a screen name
it's not
perspective.
just me.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
the worst one for me is just one player in my program, Snobus. I love him to death. He has Snobus Gaming as his response to everything. He responds to your message with Snobus Gaming, and so when I think of his name, I think of Snobus first. I know his name. I talk to him a lot, but I'm like, oh, Snobus. You mean not Logan? Snobus, and that's all I think of.
I mean, I am so bad with names. Like I know
He
screen
signs
names.
his DMs with Snobus Gaming.
That's next level. I don't blame you
Branding.
on that one.
Branding.
I mean, yeah, I'm really bad with that. But
Checking roster sheets, man, is useful.
Yes. Yeah, I have my own like Excel doc with all the information I could ever need on a student.
Yep, we did
Shirt size, screen name, rank.
Start of the year, I did student information gathering sheet where I basically said, okay, give me your email, year, ID number for the university so I can pay you stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Shirt size, pant size, username, and then social handles.
Yeah.
Because I've had to go back and okay, I know his name is Donovan. What the hell is his username? And sit down and try to think about it.
Yeah. And Hell on Pause says, glad he's not the only one. Yeah, you're not. I mean,
actually, philosophy question for you. This is a Discord management thing. One thing that I do with my high school team and on my college team is I make them put username dash first name in their nickname in the Discord.
Oh.
Have you considered that?
I have not considered that. I've let students use whatever nickname they'd like.
Because part of my reasoning behind it is
bad idea.
Students change their nickname a lot or change their username a lot. Because some students leave a default username and it changed with their username. Well, if they have these fancy characters, I can't search them.
Yes.
And so I make the nickname of their username dash their their screen name for whatever the game they're in dash their name. Because it also helps me learn names. And I'm awful with names. Oh my god. At St. Louis, I didn't know your name for 2 days.
I am terrible with names too. I've gotten really good at acting like I remember someone when they're talking to me. Like I will have full-on conversations with people and then walk away being like, I don't know who that is or how I know them. And
exactly.
It sounds like we're we're famous. But no, seriously, people talk to us all the time on social media and we never see their face or their name. I mean, yeah. So
I'll have at the IHSCA Smash event. I'm still freaking the Discord. A bunch of coaches approach me. Hi, are you Cora? I'm like, yes. Who are you? And I had to look down, check their jersey, and rattle through my head. It's Katie. And you just had to have a conversation from there.
Helen Pause says, or hear me out, change their name to whatever nickname you give them.
Yes, it's hey you guy with the face. I'll go with
that. That's a good idea.
It's
right.
I can do that.
Oh my gosh. That's a good idea though. The dash name.
Policies.
I might do that.
It's really useful because it's how I identify who in God's name you are.
Okay.
And also I can walk up and say, "Hey, so and so, how are you?" instead of shouting their username across the quad.
Yeah.
Now what's fun is one of my Glenwood players actually came here with me.
That is cool. He
signed to Wesleyan exactly a week before I announced I got the job, but one day after I officially got it. Yeah,
I remember that.
Echoic, our Overwatch and Valorant player.
Okay.
He signed to Wesleyan from my high school. I had him for 3 years in high school. I had him. He carried my team for 3 years. He was good.
Nice.
He was Overwatch at DPS, and teams would plan around him, specifically him on our team. It was great.
That's all funny.
And so he followed me here, and I kind of followed him actually. Whatever. But I'm thankful he's here, and actually, Funman and Flummox are also Illinois kids, and there's more and more Illinois kids looking here because they have friends here now.
Yeah, they know you. I mean, you've done everything for their competition for the last 4 years.
So I'm going to the IHSCA Valorant State Finals on the 16th.
Okay.
I am there wearing a couple hats. I'm there as Wesleyan. I will have my jersey on.
Oh,
I'll have a table. I'm there as the coach of a playoff championship winning team.
nice.
Swear to God, they will. I will make them. Um, I am the broadcast director, and I may be doing in-game observing as soon as we finish.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm also there because a couple students want to hug me.
Nice. There you go.
And so it's like it's a multifaceted trip for me. And then I'm going to go stay the night with some friends in town, so I can, because it's like mini vacation too.
Who's
So like,
hosting that? Where are they having it?
we're hosting it at Ignite Gaming in Skokie.
Okay. And that's a LAN
And
center, I'm assuming.
yes, and we rented out the facility too.
Wow, that's cool.
IHSCA has the ability to do that now.
Wow, big money. They found a
Still
way.
a nonprofit. Still a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Don't yell at me.
Yeah. No, I mean, finding any way to make money was difficult. So
Actually, so budget questions for you.
oh no.
My high school team, my budget was my credit card.
Yep.
Not kidding.
I know that. I know that feeling. That was our first year.
That was my 3 years.
My second year. So my second year, we built our lab and we got a donation for $35,000 to build the arena.
Yeah.
So we built our own.
My superintendent liked me, and so she
Yeah.
like built a lab for us over the summer.
That's
And I
awesome.
walked into it. And I'm like, oh, this is new.
Oh, so it was there. You didn't even know.
Basically, so what happens is I get a text in the summer from the IT director because he texts me because I know him enough.
Yeah.
And I worked commercial IT for a while.
Okay.
And I've built computers my entire life, and so like I know what I'm doing, and so IT guys tend to like me, so I just got to know him.
Yeah.
And he texted me like, "Hey, do you want to be on a conversation with MSI tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yes,
yes, please."
What could this mean? And I find out the superintendent earmarked 40 grand for us.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And so I walked into a lab in the September of that year.
That's so cool.
But like I would take students. Students would be paying a yearly fee to be part of the club.
Yep.
Which is $20. I just took $20 because I had to. Athletics fees for football is like $200.
Okay.
I just took $20 because I had to. And then I also said you pay for your own jerseys because I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Besides that, all food and travel is on me.
So we never traveled. We did have players paid for their jerseys. They paid for their HSCL subscription, and I think they paid the school, and then the school paid it.
Oh, I also paid our IHSCA fees. I paid our IHSCA fees with that $20 fee per student.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, if there was money, there was very little. We didn't go anywhere.
Also, high school coaches have a very honest conversation with your other coaches about your stipend.
Yes.
I made $2 grand.
Yeah.
I put about 1,000 back the program.
Wow. I think I made 3. I made 3 for the year, 3,000. It was because
your effective hourly rate.
Nothing. But they had canceled boys swimming that year. Ooh. And they're like, okay, let's just put esports in the replacement. So that's how much the swim coach made. So I then made 3,000 for the year, which was nice. Like I never expected to be paid. And then a nice like $1,000 payment for each season, quote unquote. Always felt nice.
I tried to argue to get same pay as the assistant football coach because I was putting in the same time as them.
Oh, for sure.
And so like I made that argument. Argument didn't work because at that school football is king, where it's like regular state champions.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't fight that, but I tried.
Yeah.
But like high school coaches have an honest conversation about pay with your other coaches. We have a channel in IHSC's Discord for just coaches general chat kind of thing. And every couple of months the pay conversation comes up, usually around start of the year.
Yeah.
And it's always productive because coaches always go, "Oh, I got more than I thought I would."
Yeah. Yeah. I think even having the conversation we have at the college level twice a year about pay, I think is really valuable. Some people don't like that I have such open and honest conversations about it, but for me, I think it's really given people something to work around. Like we didn't know I was making $38,000 at Aquinas. I didn't know what the person down the street was making. So how do I know what to ask for? How do I know my worth?
Yeah.
And I think thankfully, I think those conversations are really valuable.
And I will gladly have that conversation too if anyone wants to have it. I'm an open book as well as a person, as indicated by all of this. And so I'm happy to have these conversations anytime.
For sure. Yeah, and I was really lucky at West Catholic because when I went back with the athletic director, I knew her very well. We got our masters together, so we had those conversations together of like, hey, esports can be a really cool thing. It'll be the first time or the first one in the area under athletics. We'll get you some PR, but I need a stipend. So and my whole goal eventually was that they could keep paying someone even after I left, and just to keep something going. It worked up until now. We'll see.
I'm thankful Glenwood actually chose to keep it stipend as a stipend position even after I left, because there was, to my understanding, a strong conversation had at the school board level about removing esports.
Oh, interesting.
But they had a $40,000 computer lab just sitting there.
Oh, dang.
And so they kind of kept it because of the sunk cost.
Wow.
And that's a realization directors have to have, I guess, is what does your school see you as? For mine, my principal saw me as a great way for students to get involved, and I would a lot of times have students who were kind of having a rough time in school or with socially be in my program, and they would find a home there. But for some directors, it's just they see their program as a place to just hug kids and see what happens.
True. Darlene put "Let's go Falcons," and she also said, "Wow, Real Aquinas Esports. Is she from Michigan? Does she know these people?"
I'll let Darlene answer for herself. She's a mystery of a person.
Or she's just creeping and finding things to say.
I love Darlene dearly. I did a podcast with her and Lindsay recently. They're both amazing people. I love them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's where I know her from. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have these moments. I knew her instantly when she was in chat. Come on, man.
I follow Darlene. I just did not make the connection between the podcasts.
Thank you, Darlene. Thank you. You're here for me. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah. I mean, the moment she said she was a first-time chatter, I knew she was here for you. I mean, you pull. That's what we used to say in the fraternity in college is what is their chill to pull ratio when we were talking about recruits? Their chill to pull ratio. And you're off the charts with the pull. So
oh my god.
I was the low chill pull guy in my pledge class, but yeah, that still applies to today.
I didn't do Greek life.
I wouldn't have done it at any other school. We were in the middle of nowhere, small school. The only way to be social or have friends.
You go to?
Truman State University in Kirksville, Missouri.
I know where Truman State is. There is nothing there.
I know. We had a Walmart. Okay. We had a Walmart. That was the big thing.
You gotta come to Blono sometime so I can treat you to Mexican place sushi.
Yes. Which is that where you're going tonight? No, you're going to all you can eat sushi today.
We're going to all actually sorry, that team dinner got canceled. I'm getting dinner with a friend now.
Oh.
And they said they're gonna text me a place in about 10 minutes. So
okay, well you have to let me know if you get sushi again. Because
esports culture, Adam and I were talking about this earlier. I've had sushi 6 times in 2.5 weeks.
That is messed up. And my reply was sushi in the middle of Illinois sounds sus. Because it does. But supposedly there's some good sushi there.
I mean, I've also shown you the Mexican place that makes sushi.
Yes, and it looked sus. So
it looks sus because it is, but it's good.
But it's good.
Also, Darlene, our players actually prefer sushi over KBBQ. There's also a more sushi place in town versus Korean barbecue.
I've never had Korean barbecue, so someone needs to take me there first. Someone needs to take me to Korean barbecue, and then they will be able to put in their Twitter bio, took Antor to Korean barbecue.
We're going to that then this year at St. Louis, aren't we?
I don't know.
I mean, so I'm going there, and I would love to get dinner with you and the rest of the directors too.
Okay. I have to look. I might actually be in Boston the week of July 4th.
Who wants to go to Boston?
My sister has her wedding shower in Boston because her fiance is from there. So I don't know. But if my team were to get invited, I know. But if my team were to get invited to St. Louis, then I couldn't say no. So
I feel you loudly calling out someone right now.
The person I had to beg to get Aquinas invited last year, maybe. He's not in chat, but
No.
Clerky, you'll get a message from me. Trust. The
You'll get
moment
an
he
angry message
opens
from
up.
me, too.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. I had to
No.
beg. I had to beg to get Aquinas there last year.
I mean, one thing I also want to say, just in general, is I'm really thankful that all of you were so welcome to me back in July last year, because I was brand new and knew no one.
You looked lost.
Okay, Adam, that was literally my first day on the job.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
Literally, I got on the bus and came to St. Louis.
I know. But most of us knew of you. If we didn't know who you were, we knew of you because you're so involved in the high school space. So
no, like the fact that like Garvey knew who I was.
Oh,
the
yeah.
second I got there, I'm like, and this man just comes up and hugs me. I'm like, who are you? What happened? I looked to I knew at that point already I'd met Doc. And I'm like, Doc, who is this guy?
Oh, you don't know Garvey yet? Oh, you will.
Now I'm great friends with him. I love Garvey.
Yeah, he's awesome. Oh, that's cool.
But like
cool.
St. Louis was just such a weird experience for me because I was so fresh off the boat.
That was so awesome though. I loved that event. That was so cool. Awesome. Oh, if I have to miss it, that would.
Invite or not, I'm going again because it's a 2-hour drive for me.
Yeah, no brainer. Oh man. I loved that event. Was so cool, and I got to meet so many people.
Same. I also have a business card collection going.
Oh, nice. I do have a stack of business cards here, but they're not from St. Louis. I don't even know where they're from. That must be a college esports thing. Yeah. Oh, it might be. Yeah, it was Naked.
Yeah, there you go.
You can.
I know what you're doing better than you do.
Yeah, seriously. Okay.
But like I still so appreciative of all of you being so welcoming and just open to me because I was deer in the headlights that first day.
Oh yeah, no.
But you probably also saw the difference the second day.
True. Might have been that as well. But I mean, you were taking over a program from Fletch, who most of us know and love. And obviously we knew you because you were so involved in the high school space, and we knew how much you gave of yourself for the high school space. So I mean, why wouldn't we be excited to meet you? So but yeah, I'm glad it went well. I'm glad we didn't all just stare at you and like, who the heck is this person?
Oh, my biggest fear coming into that was everyone just like shunning me.
Oh no, nah. I mean, I think most of us are pretty weird, so the idea of shunning anyone is kind of dumb.
We're all weird together.
Correct. Yeah. Well, on that note, we're right at time, and my wife has texted me that dinner's ready, so that's always the cutoff. She even emphasized the message because I ignored the first one. So, okay. But I want to thank you for joining me because this was awesome. This was a good conversation. It wasn't as structured as most other interviews, which I appreciate. But
yeah, I love it.
But yeah, that's gonna be it. Where can people find you if they want to follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at @theroguecora, TheRogueCora, and that's where I post my selfie spam plus esports.
Nice. Any last words that you want to put out there into the space before we shut off?
Do your homework.
that is, wow. You planned that. That's a good answer. it fits.
It's from the IHSCA.
Nice. Well, thank you again, Cora. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you all. Have a good rest of the week. If your team's in playoffs, good luck. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, everyone.